What I'm about to tell you is a story that some, if not most, would think is fake. A figment of my imagination. A trick of the mind, but I don't think it's either of those things. I'm not sure what it is at all, I'm about to tell you. But I can tell you one thing. I'm not a firm believer of ghosts. I had just finally closed up work. The cool autumn breeze chilled me. It felt colder than usual tonight. It was October when it happened. My girlfriend and I decided we were going to take a weekend off from work and head up to her parents' house in Maine. It was their vacation home. They rarely used it, but we liked to. It was our little escape from reality. It was about an hour and a half drive to get there, but we were both excited. She met me at my house. We hopped in the car and headed on our way. Little did I know this wasn't going to be anything like our other trips up to Maine. We finally arrived sometime around 10 p.m. We unpacked the car. I hooked up my Xbox, turned the heat on in the house, fixed us up both a drink, and we proceeded to relax like we normally would. Now, my girlfriend loves horror movies. She always has. So, I decided to scroll through Netflix for a bit, found some corny Halloween movie for us to watch, and put it on while we both munched popcorn. Now, time went on as we enjoyed the movie, and we talked and laughed, sharing thoughts about what we would both be for Halloween that following week. "I think I want to be a possessed nun," she had told me. "Yeah, why not? Go for it, hon. I mean, it sounds like a good idea to me," I said back to her. I didn't get any response. At this point, the movie had ended, and the credits were rolling. It was dark, and it was quiet in the house. No lights on. The only light that was coming was from the black screen in the TV with the white letters scrolling through all of the credits. I looked over to see that she had fallen asleep. I chuckled. She never makes it through the whole movie, I thought to myself. My girlfriend had a tendency to pass out randomly on me as soon as she got comfy. But not me. See, I'm a late night person. That last one that's up in the house. The last light on, while everyone else is off to sleep. I don't mind it though. I like my alone time. I took my Xbox controller and I switched over to my new game I had just bought. I figure no better time than now to start it if she's asleep and I have all the time in the world to play. I got lost in my game. 2, 3, 4 hours had passed maybe before I had finally actually looked at the clock. It was 3 in the morning. I yawned. I looked back over at her and she had still been asleep. I figured one more mission wouldn't hurt. So I decided to play one more, and then I'd go to bed. Another 5 minutes had passed while I was playing my game when I was startled by a loud noise coming from our bedroom. It only took me about a second to make out exactly what it was. Music. Rock music. I looked down to see that my girlfriend was still asleep. I looked around, I found my phone, and I remembered that she had taken a bath earlier that day. She had set up her Bluetooth speaker and was playing her music through her phone while she was in the bathroom. It was probably just that. The Bluetooth speaker turned itself back on. Things like that happen. I looked around for her phone. I found it. But the strangest thing was, it wasn't playing any music. That's when I had looked over towards the television and saw that her speaker was sitting there on the television stand, and it was off. There were no lights on in the house. It was pitch black. It's a small house. The living room where we were. The kitchen off to the right-hand side, and then the bedroom and the bathroom to our left. The sound was clearly coming from the bedroom, but what was it coming from? I sat in the dark, the television screen my only light. I sat there for about 30 seconds. It wasn't too long, and to be completely honest, I wasn't even that scared. The song ended, and an announcer came on the radio, like a talk show host. A talk show host at 3 in the morning, though. He seemed enthusiastic about whatever song had just played, and he started to casually announced the weather for the following evening. Bright and sunny weather tomorrow in Maine, everybody. Enjoy the day. Temperature is going to be a high of 68 and a low of 62. Get out there and have some fun. Then he casually announced the following song that was going to play, and it began. Just another rock song, nothing that I knew, but it sounded like something my parents would listen to. I got up off the couch. I made my way to the bedroom and flipped on the light. That's when I had found where the song was coming from. It was an old-fashioned radio alarm clock. You know, the wooden ones with the big brick-like red numbers on them. I walked over to it. I'd known that it was in the bedroom before. I mean, my girlfriend and I had been coming to Maine for, I don't know, years now. But I had never actually looked at it. I'd never cared to. Hell, I'd never even touched the thing. There was no reason to. If I needed to look at the time, I just looked at my phone, but there it was, sitting there and forcing me to pay attention to it. On the top were a couple different options. The labels read off, alarm, and at the bottom, radio. The switch was set to radio. Neither me nor my girlfriend ever touched this clock. I switched it off, and then it was silent again. No sound. Nothing. I turned around in my bedroom, and the closet door was cracked open just a bit. Now, I know I said it already, but I don't believe in ghosts. Everyone my whole life would try and tell me different ghost stories, and I don't know. I never once believed them. I still don't. But I had to check. I walked over to the closet and yanked the door open quickly. Nothing. Just some extra blinds and an old desk lamp. I shrugged. Oh well. I checked the bathroom, and I checked the kitchen, just for my own peace of mind. Nothing. We were alone. Just me and her. I thought to myself, should I tell her? But she was so peaceful and asleep. I didn't see the point in waking her. Oh well, I'll tell her in the morning. Now my girlfriend, on the other hand, she's a firm believer in ghosts. Ghouls, demons, hell, you name it, she probably believes of it in some sense. So I knew she'd get a kick out of it when I told her about it in the morning. I like to scare her like that. I think it's funny. The Radio Man, I thought to myself. That's what I'll name it. That's how I'll get her. I woke up the next morning to the delicious smell of eggs and bacon. Now my girlfriend always fell asleep early, so she was quick to be up in the morning. I yawned, gave a good stretch, and walked out to the kitchen. Hi, honey. How'd you sleep? Good, I said. We sat down, ate our breakfast, talked about the movie we had watched last night, and then I told her. Now I had to build it up, scare her a little bit, if anything. So I told her the story, how the radio turned on, how I went into the room, except I gassed it up a little bit. I told her I was scared, told her I felt a presence. But I didn't. Now usually she gets a little scared, and then we'll laugh it off together. But she seemed terrified as I told it. So finally, once everything was said and done, I let her sit there with it for a minute, then I broke out laughing. Her expression went from worry to anger. What? I said. It was just a joke, it's not real. Don't do that. I hate when you scare me. I apologized. She seemed okay after that. Then we went about our day. It was only about an hour later when I realized it was downpouring outside. I thought to myself what the radio man had said last night. Bright and sunny day tomorrow, went through my head. I just found it kind of odd that he would say that. But I guess people get the weather wrong all the time. Hell, you can't rely on the news to know what the weather's going to be anymore. So the day went on, and then night. We cuddled on the couch, went through our routine, picked another movie, and before I knew it, she was asleep, snoring right next to me. I found myself lost in my game again, wondering to myself how someone could make such a masterpiece like this. That's when I snapped out of it. That's when I noticed my TV wasn't the only light on in the house tonight. The desk lamp from our bedroom was on. Did I turn that on? I thought to myself. And before I could finish that thought, the radio had burst on. That same song from last night started playing again. This time, I wasn't as comfortable. No, I was scared. Someone's messing with me. I sat there still, looking into the bedroom. Now, I couldn't see the whole room from where I was sitting on the couch, just one wall where the lamp had been illuminating. That's when I noticed the faint silhouette. It looked like a man in a trench coat. The shadow was so tall, with an old-fashioned cap on the top of his head. The song ended. I sat frozen, staring at the shadow in the bedroom. "What's wrong?" Those were the only 2 words I heard after. It was the same voice from the night before. "You seem a little startled," the voice said. That's when the shadow seemed to turn. Not normally, not like a human turns, but it bent violently backwards. It looked like the man was folded in half, at least from what I could see. And the shape shifted. It was huge, and the shadow changed positions. It looked like it was moving closer to the door. I could hear the floorboards creaking in the room next door. It was getting closer to the door. I didn't know what to do. I thought about waking her up. I just sat there. You know, you think in those situations, you would know what to do. You would do something, anything, yell, scream. I just sat there. It wasn't until just then that I noticed the announcer's voice had changed. It was laughing, but it wasn't his voice. It wasn't that jolly man. It was evil. It was something so sinister, something so not human. Then all at once it stopped. The light shut out. The laughing stopped, and the next song started to play. It was something old, really old-fashioned. It wasn't rock. I couldn't make out exactly what it was, but it was creepy. I sat there alone in the dark, this song playing, and I knew I had to do something. It wasn't safe. Whatever was in this house with us wasn't safe. I went to turn to wake my girlfriend up, but she was already awake, sat up, eyes open, staring blankly forward. I looked at her for a second. "Babe, are you okay?" I said. That's when I realized she wasn't looking at me. She was looking past, into the kitchen. It was pitch black. I couldn't see through past the kitchen door, but I didn't need to. I could barely make the silhouette out. The face was so long. Like the length of a horse's face, if I had to compare it to anything I've seen. The mouth opened up. Those jagged teeth are all I can remember as the figure smiled at us through the doorway. We both sat there. It's when I saw the hand slowly reach out from the door frame, wrapping its long, disgusting fingers around the wall, where I could see it illuminated from the TV light. That was all I needed to see. I grabbed her, I yanked her so hard, and we bolted for the door. I unlocked it, I grabbed the car keys, we got in the car and we left, and we never looked back. Now, I wish I could tell you what happened that night. I wish I knew myself. I haven't slept in days, weeks. I don't know, it's all a blur. The only thing that's on my mind are those evil teeth, that smile, and the jolly voice of the radio man telling me to have a nice day.